Music is the combination of tones, frequencies, chords, and progressions played together over a set amount of time. That set amount of time is called the beat. As we unpack the Nashville Numbers System throughout the next several chapters, it will not make any sense without a basic understanding of musical beat. So let's jump on in and take a closer look at the beat on today's weekly worship thought. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you go to my website, www.jeffpolenmusic.com, and download the Becoming a Musical Ninja worksheet. We'll be using it for the next several chapters. There are some, I think, super helpful exercises to work through in the worksheet that will help you to better grasp this material and to help you along the way to becoming a musical ninja yourself. Enough about the worksheet, let's get on with the beat. The vast majority of contemporary Western music uses 4 beats in each measure. Now, simply put, that means that the basic musical phrase or feel repeats itself every 4 beats. For these songs, you could count something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, along with the beat. And you would likely hear the chord changes on the 1. Again, this is by far the most commonly used time signature in contemporary Western music, but it is certainly not the only one. This time signature is called 4/4 because there are 4 beats for each measure. A classic example of a song written in 4/4 is Hark the Herald Angels Sing. If you count it out, the measure starts over again on the words hark, angels, glory, and newborn. All right, let's check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Perfect. So those words sit on the first beat of each measure or on the 1 beat. Now some songs have 3 beats to a measure, which means that you could count them as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you'd start a new measure every time you count the 1. This time signature is called 3/4 because there are 3 beats for each measure. A classic example of a song written in 3/4 is the first Noel. If you count it out, the measure starts over again on the words first, L, angels, and say. All right, let's see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The first Noel, the angels did say. Checks out. Contemporary Western music will also use 2/4 and 6/8, as well as many other rarely used time signatures. So if the song works better to count 2 beats to a measure instead of 4, or 6 beats to a measure instead of 3, then the song is actually written in 2/4 or 6/8, respectively. Ultimately, whether the song is written in 2/4 or 4/4, or whether the song is written in 3/4 or 6/8, doesn't really matter, as long as everyone on the team is on the same page. Technically, there's a difference. Practically, not so much. So let's think about this really practically, right? So if you have a song that feels better to count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because the phrases are repeating themselves in that manner, then it's in 2/4. If the song feels better to count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's in 4/4. In the same way, if the song sounds better and it feels like the phrases are repeating when you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then it's in 3/4. Whereas if it seems like it's better to count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then the song is in 6/8. Okay, so we have talked about different time signatures and whether a measure has 4 beats or 3 beats or whatever, and this is important. You definitely do not want to try to play a 4/4 song to a 3/4 rhythm. No bueno. But that, I think, is pretty obvious, even though we have all accidentally tried it, right? Okay, but now let's talk about how those measures can be filled. For our purposes here, we're going to use just the most common time signature, which is overwhelmingly 4/4. If you're counting the song 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the beats of a 4/4 song, then what you're actually counting is quarter notes. A quarter note is a note that is played for 1/4 of a 4/4 measure, or 1 beat. It is important to point out that the quarter note is still just 1 beat in any other time signature, even though that would technically be half of a 2/4 measure. So a quarter note's going to be played like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that works? Just strumming on every beat, that's playing quarter notes. A half note then is half of a 4/4 measure or 2 beats. A whole note would be held out for the duration of the entire measure or 4 beats. All right, so let's take a closer look at what that half note and whole note would sound like if it was strummed on a guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a half note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each strum occupies 2 beats. Now here would be a whole note occupying 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Going now in the other direction, notes can actually occupy less than 1 beat. So an eighth note is half of a beat. To count eighth notes, you actually count the measure as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and each word represents an eighth note. So let's go ahead and strum these eighth notes here. This is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So each beat actually gets 2 strums. Although much more could be said about this and about the many ways to fill and to actually go beyond a measure, we will, for our purposes here, go no further than acknowledging the 16th note, which is a quarter of a beat. You can fit 4 16th notes into a single beat and 16 16th notes into a single measure. And you could count that measure as 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Again, each word or something like a word represents a 16th note. So we're going to slow down a little bit so we can catch this, but this is the 16th note occupying a quarter of a beat, right? So there would end up being 16 of these things in the entire measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, those are the basics of the musical beat. Once you've got the beat, you want to know how quickly those beats are moving. The tempo of a song is determined by the beats per minute, or BPM. Once you have your time signature and your tempo, you're ready to move on to the next chapter, in which we will talk about the key. So just real quick here, I want to recap all of the different beats that we went over, and we're going to count in the 4/4 time signature. 1, 2, 3, whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4, half note. 1, 2, 3, 4, quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 16th. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And that's what it sounds like on the guitar. Okay, one last little illustration here. I want to talk a little bit more about the beats per minute, the tempo. So here I've got just a neat little metronome, and it helps us because it counts the different beats per minute. So I'm just going to set it at 70 BPM, and you can hear what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear how that accent is on the 1 there? That's 4/4 time signature at 70 BPM. Now let's stop that and just give you a little bit of idea. Let's crank it up to 120, and this is what it sounds like at 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. So we just counted 4 measures at a 120 BPM. What was one interesting truth or idea that stood out to you today? And how do you think that truth or idea will help you in the future? Was there anything confusing or too difficult to understand in this chapter? If so, what do you think you could do to learn more about it? Why do you think this information about musical beat is important? How does knowing about it help you? How would not knowing about it potentially lead to issues? Do you ever think about any of the musical beat concepts that were shared in this chapter? If so, in what ways? If not, do you think these concepts just come naturally for you? Or do you think that perhaps this is an area that you really need to grow in? In your own words, how do you think this concept of musical beat fits into the big picture of learning the Nashville Numbers System?